There's a mistake we all make at some point in life. We think that in order to be heard, we must speak more. That to get what we want, we must chase, force, and constantly assert ourselves. But the truth is the opposite. The most powerful people in the world understand something that many overlook. Silence is a force multiplier. When you stay silent, you give yourself space to observe, to understand, and to move with purpose. Imagine walking into a room full of people. The loudest person demands attention. The quiet one, however, listens, learns, and waits. Who do you think walks away with the most valuable knowledge? The one who observes. Opportunities are not something you chase. They are something you align with. The more you force things, the more resistance you create. But when you trust the process, when you put in the work, and let your actions speak louder than your words, the right things find you naturally. Think about the most respected individuals in history. They were not the ones who shouted the loudest. They were the ones who moved with intention, who let their results, their character, and their wisdom speak for them. When you stop explaining yourself, stop proving yourself, and simply be, you gain an unshakable presence. There is a kind of magnetism in stillness. People are drawn to those who don't seek validation but operate with quiet confidence. This is how you become unstoppable, not by forcing, but by aligning. So the next time you feel the need to prove, defend, or chase, stay silent. Watch how everything starts coming to you naturally. Because real power is not in how much noise you make, it's in the silence that speaks for itself. We live in a world that rewards loudness. Social media pushes us to constantly express, react, and share every thought. The workplace encourages speaking up, making our voices heard, and taking immediate action. Even in our personal lives, we are often told that if we don't speak up, we'll be left behind. But what if the opposite were true? What if strength wasn't found in how much we say, but in what we choose not to say? What if real power came from resisting the urge to react, from choosing silence when emotions run high, and from allowing patience, discipline, and emotional control to shape our decisions? It takes no strength to react impulsively. Anyone can do that. When something upsets us, when we feel disrespected, when we face uncertainty, the natural instinct is to respond immediately, to defend ourselves, to argue, to assert our position. But in that moment of emotional reaction, we give away our power. Consider a great leader in a crisis. Do they panic? Do they lash out? No. They pause, they assess, they take a breath before speaking. That silence isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of mastery. They know that reacting without thought leads to poor decisions, while silence gives them time to choose their response wisely. This isn't just about leadership. In every area of life, business, relationships, personal growth, the ability to control our reactions determines our success. If you can resist the urge to react emotionally, you automatically place yourself ahead of most people, because most people don't have that discipline. Strength is not about winning every argument or proving a point in the moment. Strength is about seeing the bigger picture. Think about the most successful people in any field. They didn't get there by reacting to every challenge or chasing instant gratification. They built their success through patience. They knew that real, lasting achievements don't happen overnight. They require time, consistency, and endurance. Silence is an expression of patience. When you hold back from responding impulsively, you give yourself time to think strategically. You allow situations to unfold instead of forcing them. You learn to trust the process instead of demanding immediate results. Patience isn't just about waiting, it's about maintaining composure while you wait. It's easy to say, I'll be patient, but the real test is whether you can stay calm, focused, and committed during that waiting period. That's where silence becomes your greatest tool. It's easy to speak before thinking. It's easy to argue when emotions are high, but self-control is what separates the strong from the weak. A person with discipline understands that not everything requires a response, that sometimes silence is more powerful than words. Think about someone who always reacts, always explains themselves, always justifies their actions. Over time, they lose credibility. Their words become predictable, even meaningless. But someone who chooses their words carefully, someone who only speaks when necessary, when they do speak, people listen. That's because silence creates authority. The less you speak, the more weight your words carry. The more you control your impulses, the more respect you command. Silence helps us develop emotional intelligence. When we stop reacting to everything around us, we start understanding ourselves better. We start recognizing our triggers, our fears, and our insecurities. Imagine someone insults you. Your first instinct might be to respond, to defend yourself, to prove them wrong. But what happens if you stay silent? What happens if you don't give them the reaction they expect? The strongest people are not those who never feel emotions. They are those who don't let emotions dictate their actions. They feel anger, but don't act on it. They feel fear, but move forward anyway. They feel doubt, but don't let it stop them. In a world where everyone is rushing to speak, to react, to make themselves heard, there is an untapped advantage in staying silent. That advantage is observation. Most people go through life seeing, but not truly noticing. They hear, but they don't listen. They move through conversations, meetings, and decisions without paying attention to the details that shape the bigger picture. But those who remain silent, those who choose to watch instead of talk, gain access to insights that others overlook. Silence is not passivity, it is a strategy. When you stay silent, you begin to see the world differently. You notice people's true intentions, you recognize patterns, and you start understanding situations with clarity. Observation gives you an edge. And those who master it always stay one step ahead. The difference between success and failure is often found in the details, and details are only visible to those who take the time to look closely. Think about a chess master. They don't just play their move, they study the board. They observe their opponent's breathing, their hesitation, the way their eyes scan the pieces. Every tiny detail holds meaning. A single overlooked move can mean the difference between victory and defeat. These are things that loud, reactive people never notice because they're too busy talking. But for those who stay silent, the world becomes a book where every detail tells a story. People reveal who they are, not always through their words, but through their actions, their expressions, their energy. When you remain silent and simply observe, you start to understand people in ways they don't even understand themselves. You see past their words into their intentions. You recognize when someone is genuine and when they are pretending. Think about the most charismatic and influential individuals, leaders, negotiators, great communicators. They are not the ones who talk the most. They are the ones who listen the best. Because they know that when you let people speak, they tell you everything you need to know. A person who talks too much reveals their weaknesses, but a person who listens learns their strengths. Opportunity is not something that shouts, it whispers. It appears in subtle ways, in small moments, in places most people never think to look. The reason some people are always ahead is because they have trained themselves to see what others overlook. Most people only see what's in front of them, but those who master observation see beyond the surface, and that is why they win. When you react too quickly, when you make decisions without fully observing the situation, you set yourself up for mistakes. But when you pause, when you observe, when you allow silence to bring clarity, you begin to make smarter choices. Think about the greatest strategists in history. Did they rush? Did they speak impulsively? No, they waited. They watched. They let their opponents reveal their hands before making their move. When you speak too much, people know your every thought. They understand your plans, your weaknesses, your emotions. But when you stay silent, when you simply watch, you become a mystery. People respect those they cannot easily read. They are drawn to those who don't reveal everything at once. When you are silent, people wonder what you're thinking. They become curious. They start paying attention to you instead of the other way around. We are taught to believe that speaking up is the key to success, that if we don't talk, we'll be ignored. But the truth is, the greatest power often belongs to those who say the least. We live in a world where noise dominates. People are constantly talking about their goals, their ambitions, their plans. Social media is filled with individuals announcing their dreams, their hustle, their success before they've even achieved it. But here's the truth. The loudest people often achieve the least. Those who make the biggest impact don't waste time trying to prove themselves with words. They don't seek validation. They don't feel the need to announce every step of their journey. Instead, they let the results create the noise. There is an illusion that comes with talking about our goals. The moment we tell people what we're going to do, we feel a small sense of accomplishment. We receive encouragement, validation, even admiration. It feels good, but that feeling is dangerous because it replaces the need to take real action. Many people mistake talking for doing. They believe that sharing their plans is the same as working on them, that telling people they will succeed somehow makes success inevitable. But in reality, success doesn't come from talking, it comes from working in silence. The entrepreneur who spends more time pitching ideas than building them never succeeds. The athlete who boasts about their training but doesn't put in the real work never wins. The student who claims they will excel but doesn't study never achieves their potential. On the other hand, those who focus on their craft, who work relentlessly without seeking attention, are the ones who truly rise to the top. Think about the greatest achievers in history. Did they spend their time bragging about what they were going to do, or did they simply put in the work day after day until the world had no choice but to notice? When you dedicate yourself to your work, when you pour your energy into doing instead of talking, results become your voice. And results are undeniable. The world respects those who prove their worth, not those who claim it. When you achieve something real, whether it's building a business, mastering a skill, or overcoming a challenge, you don't need to convince people of your success. Your results speak for themselves. Let your growth, your progress, and your impact be undeniable. Let people see your success instead of just hearing about it. Working in silence requires discipline. It requires the ability to resist the urge to seek validation. It demands that you stay focused on your mission instead of wasting energy on proving yourself to others. This is hard because we all want recognition. We all want to be acknowledged. But those who stay committed to their craft without distractions are the ones who truly achieve greatness. People might doubt you, they might question your ability, but when your actions deliver undeniable results, they can't ignore you anymore. Silence is confidence. It shows that you don't need external validation. It means you trust yourself enough to let time reveal the truth. Have you ever noticed how the most successful people don't waste time explaining themselves? They don't argue with critics. They don't feel the need to justify their dreams. They simply do the work and let success speak for them. Success doesn't come from making promises, it comes from keeping them. It doesn't come from talking, it comes from doing. So instead of announcing your goals, work on them. Instead of arguing for your worth, prove it. Instead of seeking attention, let your actions demand it. We live a world of instant gratification. We want results now. We want success now. We want answers now. And when things don't happen on our timeline, we panic. We start forcing outcomes, chasing opportunities, and trying to control what is beyond us. There is an invisible rhythm to life, a process that unfolds at the right pace, in the right way, when you are ready for it. But most people don't trust that. They rush, they doubt, They force things before their time, and in doing so, they sabotage the very success they are trying to achieve. Patience and trust in the journey bring what is meant for you. If you can master the art of trusting the process, life will unfold in ways beyond what you ever imagined. Most people believe they are in complete control of their lives. They think that if they just push harder, work longer, and force situations, they can bend reality to their will. But life doesn't work that way. Some things take time. Some lessons must be learned before the reward arrives. Some opportunities won't come until you are truly ready. Have you ever noticed that when you chase something too desperately, whether it's a relationship, a job, or a goal, it often moves further away? It's not because you don't deserve it, it's because you're not aligned with it yet. You're trying to control the outcome instead of mastering the process. The greatest successes in life come to those who understand this. You don't have to chase what is meant for you. It will come to you when you are prepared for it. Most people can wait, but they wait with doubt, they wait with anxiety, they wait with frustration, and that energy pushes away what they desire. But those who truly trust the process wait with confidence. They know that just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen. They focus on their growth, their mindset, and their preparation. Because here's the truth: the universe, life, God, whatever you believe in, will not give you what you are not ready to handle. Most people want the rewards before they are ready for the responsibility. But the process ensures that when success arrives, you can handle it. We've all had moments where we thought we missed an opportunity. Maybe a business deal didn't work out. Maybe a relationship ended. Maybe we didn't get the job we wanted. But what if you didn't lose anything? What if that opportunity wasn't the right one for you? Or what if it simply wasn't the right time? The truth is, what is meant for you will always find its way to you, but only when you are in the right place to receive it. Life has a way of redirecting us. What seems like a failure today often turns out to be a blessing tomorrow. What feels like a rejection is sometimes protection from something that wasn't meant for us. If you trust the process, you stop worrying about missed chances. You understand that what is truly meant for you will never pass you by. Instead of focusing on forcing outcomes, focus on becoming the person who naturally attracts those outcomes. Instead of chasing success, focus on developing the habits and mindset of successful people. Instead of chasing love, focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts deep connections. Instead of chasing opportunities, focus on sharpening your skills so opportunities come to you. When you become the right person, the right things start coming effortlessly. You don't have to fight for them. You don't have to force them. They align with who you are. Trusting the process doesn't mean you do nothing. It doesn't mean you sit back and hope for a miracle. It means you take consistent action without desperation. It means you work hard, stay committed, and allow things to unfold naturally. It means you trust that even when things seem uncertain, everything is happening exactly as it should. And that's when everything you've been working for, the success, the opportunities, the breakthroughs, starts coming to you effortlessly. In a world where everyone is trying to be the loudest voice in the room, silence has become a rare and powerful weapon. We often assume that the most vocal individuals, the ones who dominate conversations, demand attention, and constantly assert themselves, are the ones who command the most respect. But the truth is, the people who speak less are often the ones who are heard the most. Because silence signals confidence. It creates mystery. It forces people to listen when you finally do speak. Those who choose their words carefully, who speak with purpose rather than just to fill the silence, are taken far more seriously than those who talk endlessly without direction. A silent, strategic individual holds more power than someone who constantly seeks validation through noise. And when you master the ability to speak only when necessary, you will find that people begin to respect, admire, and even fear your presence. There is a common misconception that being loud equals being influential, that the more you talk, the more people will listen. That the more you demand attention, the more important you must be. But in reality, the opposite is true. When someone speaks too much, when they constantly interrupt, over-explain, or try to dominate every conversation, they lose credibility. Their words become background noise. People start tuning them out, dismissing their opinions as nothing more than empty chatter. But when someone speaks less, when they choose their words intentionally, when they stay silent and observe, people lean in when they finally do speak. Their words carry weight because they are not wasted. Think about the most respected individuals in history. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and strategists were not the ones who constantly talked. They were the ones who knew when to remain silent and when to speak with power and precision. When you are silent, people don't know what you're thinking. They don't know whether you approve or disapprove, whether you are impressed or unimpressed. This forces them to respect you because they cannot easily predict or manipulate you. Contrast that with someone who talks too much. When a person reveals everything they think, feel, or plan, they become predictable and easy to dismiss. They give away their power. In negotiations, the silent individual holds the advantage because the other party doesn't know what they are thinking. In leadership, the quiet leader is often the most respected because when they do speak, their words carry significance. In social settings, the person who listens more than they speak is often the most admired because their silence makes others curious about them. People respect what they don't fully understand, and silence creates that aura of authority. Now, silence doesn't mean doing nothing. It doesn't mean avoiding confrontation or never expressing your thoughts. There's a difference between strategic silence and passive silence. Passive silence comes from fear. It's when someone stays quiet because they lack confidence or are afraid of speaking up. But strategic silence is different. It's a deliberate choice. It's about knowing when to hold back and when to make an impact with your words. A truly powerful person doesn't always remain silent. They simply understand that not everything needs to be said. They choose their battles, their words, and their moments wisely. One of the greatest signs of self-mastery is the ability to control your tongue. Most people feel an overwhelming need to respond, to argue, to prove themselves in every situation. But those who can remain composed in silence gain a level of respect that reactive people never will. This is how respect is earned, not by demanding it, but by commanding it through self-discipline. Pause before responding. Instead of reacting immediately, take a moment to think before you speak. This shows that your words are intentional, not impulsive. Listen more than you speak. The person who listens the most always has the most knowledge. The more you observe, the more powerful your words become when you do choose to speak. Don't reveal everything. Keep some things to yourself. Not everyone needs to know your thoughts, emotions, or plans. Let people wonder about you. Be comfortable with silence. Many people feel uncomfortable when there is silence in a conversation. Use this to your advantage. Let others fill the space while you stay composed. Use words with impact. When you do speak, make sure your words add value. Say something meaningful, and people will remember it. The people who truly command respect are not the ones who are the loudest. They are the ones who know when to be silent and when to speak with purpose. In a world full of noise, silence becomes a superpower. It makes people take you seriously, forces them to pay attention. It gives you the upper hand in any situation. So the next time you feel the need to prove yourself with words, stop, pause, observe. Let your silence make people curious. Because the person who speaks less, who speaks only when necessary, is the person people listen to the most. We often think of energy in physical terms, how much we can lift, how long we can run, how little we can sleep and still function. But energy is far more than that. It is mental, it is emotional, it is spiritual. and it is limited. Every time you speak unnecessarily, you drain your energy. And once that energy is gone, you cannot get it back. This is why protecting your energy, being intentional about where you invest your words, your focus, and your emotions, is one of the most powerful things you can do. Because the truth is this: when you remain silent, you conserve that energy for the things that truly matter. Words are not free. Every conversation, every argument, every unnecessary explanation costs you something. It takes mental effort to process your thoughts, form sentences, and engage in discussions. It takes emotional effort to react, respond, and defend yourself. And when done excessively, it depletes you. Think about the people who always feel exhausted. It's not just because of physical work. It's because they spend too much energy on things that don't move them forward. All of this takes power away from the areas of life that actually matter: your growth, your goals, your inner peace. When you learn to speak less, you realize how much energy you were wasting on things that were never worth your time. Energy is like money. If you spend it recklessly, you will always feel like you don't have enough. But if you manage it wisely, you will always have something left to invest in what truly matters. Most people never ask these questions. They assume their exhaustion comes from external factors, when in reality, most of it comes from self-inflicted energy leaks. If you feel drained, overwhelmed, or constantly tired, it's time to audit your energy. Stop spending it on things that give you nothing in return. When you remain silent, something incredible happens. Your energy regenerates. Instead of spending mental and emotional effort on pointless interactions, you gain clarity. You start to think deeper, listen better, and observe more. You recognize which people value your words and which just want to waste your time. You gain control over your emotions, no longer reacting to every little thing that challenges you. This is why the most powerful individuals in the world are often the most reserved. They don't waste their energy proving themselves, they protect it. If you want to conserve your energy and use it wisely, start implementing these habits. Pause before speaking. Before you say anything, ask yourself, does this need to be said? If not, stay silent. Choose your battles wisely. Not every argument is worth your energy. Let people be wrong. Let them misunderstand you. Your energy is more valuable than their opinion. Stop explaining yourself. The right people don't need endless explanations. The wrong people will never be satisfied with them. Say what needs to be said, then let it go. Limit conversations that drain you. Some people will never stop complaining, gossiping, or arguing. Minimize your exposure to them. Protect your peace. Embrace silence. You don't always need to respond, react, or fill the air with words. Silence is powerful. Let it work in your favor. Your energy is one of your greatest assets. Every unnecessary conversation, every argument, and every moment spent proving yourself costs you something. But when you learn to speak only when necessary, to remain silent when it serves you, and to protect your energy at all costs, you will find yourself more powerful, more focused, and more in control than ever before. Because once you start protecting your energy, you'll realize just how much of it you were wasting all along. When you speak less, you gain more. More wisdom, more strength, and more influence. You protect your peace, maintain your composure, and ensure that your words carry weight when you choose to use them.